In the hours before dawn, Paris belongs to the ghosts. The city holds its breath, and at its heart, the Louvre Palace rests like a sleeping giant. It is a fortress built to defy time, a sanctuary for the fragile idea of permanence. Every morning, the ritual begins. The lights flicker on, one by one. The vast, empty halls are filled with the hum of climate control, the faint echo of footsteps. This is the rhythm of preservation. A quiet, constant battle against decay, against dust, against the slow erosion of memory. We come to these places to feel the weight of history, to stand in the presence of genius. We believe in the story they tell us, that what is priceless can be protected, that our shared past is safe behind the glass. On a Sunday morning in October 2025, that story was about to be proven a fiction. The operation began not with a bang, but with the quiet hum of hydraulics. At 4:50 a.m., a monte-meuble, a simple furniture lift, pulled into position on the Quai François Mitterrand. In a city of narrow staircases, it is the machine of daily life, a symbol of the mundane, the overlooked. It was the perfect camouflage. The platform rises, a slow, mechanical ascent into the darkness. It carries two figures, dressed not as thieves, but as laborers. They are ascending towards a blind spot, a single unmonitored balcony on the Apollo Gallery, a flaw in the fortress's digital armor. This is not a brute force attack, it is a surgical procedure. They were inside in seconds. The sound of the grinder, a violent scream in the sacred quiet, the glass of the display case, a spiderweb of fractures, the alarm, a piercing electronic shriek that no one would hear in time. They moved with a chilling economy of motion. They knew what they wanted. Not the largest diamonds, not the most famous pieces, but the most symbolic 7 minutes, an eternity for a crime of this magnitude. As they turn to leave, a mistake. The crown of Empress Eugénie, heavy with history, is dropped. It clatters onto the parquet floor, a cascade of diamonds scattering like fallen stars. They don't stop. The mission is speed. They leave the broken coronet behind, a clue, or perhaps a message. To understand what was taken, you have to understand why it was made. These were not just jewels, they were instruments of statecraft, forged in the fires of ambition. When Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself emperor, he inherited a nation that had executed its king and melted down the ancient symbols of monarchy. He needed a new mythology. Power, he knew, is a performance, and it requires a stage. He turned the Louvre from a royal palace into a public museum, filling it with the plundered art of his conquests. He created a new aristocracy, and for his empresses, he commissioned jewels of breathtaking scale. The emerald necklace for Marie-Louise, the sapphire tiara, the diamond brooches. They were propaganda, crafted to project an image of unshakable power and divine right earned by the sword. Each gem was a declaration that a new dynasty was as legitimate, as brilliant, and as eternal as any that had come before. The thieves didn't just steal diamonds, they stole the foundational story of the French Empire. They walked away with the ghosts of kings. In the hours after the theft, the world outside the museum erupted. The news went viral, a perfect crime for the 21st century media machine. It had history, glamour, and a world-famous stage. The story was everywhere, a cascade of headlines from Reuters, the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, Le Monde, a global spectacle. But inside the investigation, there was only silence. The paradox of the crime was its combination of precision and carelessness. They left behind DNA, a damaged crown, and the lift itself. But every lead was a contradiction, every clue a dead end. Interpol issued a red notice, placing the jewels on the world's most wanted list of stolen art. But how do you find something that has vanished into thin air? The museum, in a stunning act of defiance, remained open. The crowds flowed through the Apollo Gallery, unaware that a piece of history had just been surgically removed from their world. The empty display case became a silent monument to the crime. a new, unintentional exhibit on the fragility of institutions. The jewels were never found. The thieves, like ghosts in a modern machine, were never caught. And in the silence that followed, a deeper question began to surface. What is the true value of these objects? Not their monetary worth, which is an abstraction, but their cultural weight. What does it mean to lose a piece of the story we tell ourselves about who we are? There is a strange power in absence. In 1911, when the Mona Lisa was stolen, the crowds came not to see the painting, but to see the empty space on the wall. In Boston, the vacant frames of the Gardner Museum heist are more haunting than many of the works that remain. We are fascinated by the void. It reminds us that our grip on history is tenuous, that permanence is an illusion we construct for our own comfort. We build museums to stop time. We call it preservation. But history is not a static collection. It is a dynamic, often violent process of appropriation, destruction, and reinterpretation. The objects are merely props in a much longer story. And in the end, it is the stories of kings, of emperors, of the audacious thieves who vanished into the city that truly endure. The treasures themselves are just beautiful, temporary things. The jewels are gone, but the space they left behind is now part of the collection. A silent testament to the fact that what is most precious is not what we keep, but what we stand to lose.